There's not a single doubt about this in my mind. The reason all these Alabama 4- and 5-star wide receivers are leaving left and right is because of one person and one person only. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. It's not a coincidence that all of these wide receivers decided to leave at one time. Alright, it's kind of getting ridiculous at this point, and you also kind of got to start to believe there's a reason behind all of this. Look, I get it, it's 2022, and as a Bama fan, I'll be the first to tell you, we always have 8 to 10, maybe sometimes 12 guys entering the portal every single season. But for Alabama to dang near lose nearly all of their 4- and 5-star wide receivers, it's inconceivable. We've lost everybody, and when I say we've lost everybody, I'm not just overhyping it. We literally only have one wide receiver recruit from 2021 left on the roster. That's it, and now as to when I'm speaking, yet another 5-star wide receiver has left. I've lost count. I now think the numbers at 5+ wide receivers have entered the portal or left. I said this before about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I kind of believe it. When a couple of these Alabama offensive players were entering the portal, I said this could have something to do with a guy that hasn't been fired, and if you're a Bama fan, you know who I'm referring to. But now, fast forward in time to our current date, I don't kind of believe it. I almost dang near firmly believe it 100%. I strongly believe, and a lot of other Bama fans believe this as well, there is a reason these kids are leaving, and we're going to talk about it in this video. It's really hard to label 5 wide receivers leaving within a week as a quote-unquote coincidence. I don't care who you are. Having 5 wide receivers leave your program out of nowhere, yeah, it's kind of strange. We're going to talk all about that, and also we got to talk about the newest, hottest quarterback in the transfer portal, and also we got to talk about this 12-year-old kid you see on your screen. I know exactly what you're sitting there saying. Matt, did you just say 12-year-old? And yes, I did. Apparently, this young man you're looking at is 12. He's taken the nation over by storm, and I'm going to show you some of the video clips of him running the ball, and I want you to be the judge of it. Let me know if you think he's 12. I'll leave it at this. I'm having a hard time believing it. We've got a lot to talk about and go over. As always, it's going to be a jam-packed video, but real quick, we are on the road to 260,000 subscribers before Christmas. There's a ton of new people coming to the channel and just a ton of people in general that are watching, and you're simply not subscribed. It's rather simple. If you want to be a part of the greatest college football community in the world, consider subscribing. We would love to have you here. If not, that's cool too. We're just a bunch of guys and girls that like college football. If you want to be a part of our amazing community, consider joining. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Where shall we start around? I say first things first. We got to talk about this 12-year-old. He's sweeping the nation, and Matt, can you zoom in for us on this picture? Yeah, there we go, there we go. As you can see, he's holding this big trophy. Looks like the Heisman Trophy, and it says 12U Division I National Championship, Most Valuable Player. Also, Matt, can you go up a little for us? Thank you, Matt. Yeah, as you can see, this kid has a mustache. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. I've seen my fair share of 15-year-olds with mustaches, but a 12-year-old? No. Also, Matt, can you show everybody this? This is what caught my attention the most out of everything. You know, maybe with the mustache, you can argue, okay, maybe he hit puberty early. But can somebody explain to me why he has an arm sleeve tattoo? I've personally never seen a 12-year-old with a tattoo. Maybe this is a common thing. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. I'm not even going to call him a kid. After this game, this young man, he was being interviewed, and Matt wrote a clip.
They already follow me. Yeah. Yes, sir. Hey, man. I don't know. Yeah, I record. How old you is?
12.
Boy, this boy 12. Boy, look here. Only time I hear the word 12 is when we running from them. But right now, boy, I talk to 2 12 years old. Boy, look here. If they don't go to the NFL, it's racism. Yes, sir. Boy, you ready? And they gave you the hot. Boy, look here. You deserve it, boy. You deserve it. They told him.
Yeah, that's interesting to say the least. There's also this rare video footage of him playing against these other 12-year-olds, and Matt wrote a clip.
Go! Go up! Come on!
I don't know, man. I don't want to say this kid's a liar and his parents are lying or yada, yada, yada. The only thing I'm going to say is it reminded me of that one. What's that movie called? Oh, yeah, The Bench Warmers, where, was it Carlos? He was pitching on the mound. If you've seen The Bench Warmers, you know what I'm talking about. It's a baseball movie, and they asked him for documentation, and his birth certificate's like a crayon drawn picture. It says like I am 12 or something. Matt, throw the picture up on the screen. Yeah, there you go. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. I'm not going to be the judge of this because I know you guys in the comment section, you'll do that. Let me know your thoughts. Moving on to our second topic before we get into all the Bama stuff going on. Coastal Carolina's quarterback Grayson McCall has entered the transfer portal, and many believe he's going to be the top prospect. For those of you that are sitting there going, Matt, who in the crap is this guy? Well, I don't know too much about him either, besides that he is the 3-time Sun Belt Player of the Year. It's safe to say the kid's pretty good. In 2020, he completed nearly 69% of his passes, had 2,500 passing yards, with 26 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. Fast forward in time into 2021, check this out. Completed 73% of his passes, had 2,900 passing yards, with 27 touchdowns to, once again, only 3 INTs. And in 2022, it's basically a carbon copy paste of all the other seasons, 2,600 yards, 24 touchdowns to only 2 INTs. Doing some basic math here, 26, 27, 24, he had 77, I believe it is, 77 touchdowns in 3 years to only, what is that, 8 INTs? The kid's pretty good. However, we gotta throw this in there, he wasn't playing the greatest of competition. So it is always hard for me at least to evaluate how good these guys actually are when they're playing in cupcake conferences. Kind of the same thing with Dylan Gabriel, who played at UCF. Yes, you put up great numbers at UCF, but it's UCF. You're playing nobody. Despite all of that, whoever winds up getting this kid, he can make an instant impact. This is a player to keep your eyes on in the transfer portal. Not too many people are going to talk about him, and I think a great fit for him would be a school like Florida. Florida's a school who currently needs a quarterback, and the expectations wouldn't be too high. I really don't know too much more about him. It was just announced not too long ago he's entering the portal. But finally, moving on to the main topic of the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video. Oh man, we gotta talk about what's going on in T-Town. You know what they say, or maybe they don't say this, maybe I just say this. When things are going good in life, it only gets better. However, on the flip side and the downside, when things are going bad, it only continues to get worse. That's how it appears to seem at Alabama. A few weeks ago, a lot of players entered the transfer portal. Then about 5-6 days ago, even more players entered the portal, a lot of them being 4-star wide receivers. And recently, the new update is, yeah, not so great. Let me show you this tweet real quick that we've already talked about, and it was put out on December 5th. 6 Alabama players just hit the portal. Wide receiver Trayshawn Holden, wide receiver JoJo Earl, wide receiver Christian Leary, offensive lineman Javion Cohen, offensive lineman Tommy Brackemeyer, and offensive lineman Amari Kite. I'm asking y'all a question. Can you tell me what all these players have in common? I'll give you a second. Yeah, if you couldn't figure it out, I'm just going to say it for you. They play on offense. Nobody really said too much about this at the time, but I was starting to speculate. And what I've started to speculate is that a guy that these players and fans aren't too fond of, he's going to be coming back, and he goes by the name of Bill O'Brien. Also, for those of you that are curious, these wide receivers, they're not scrubs by any means. They all played outside of Christian Leary. And to go on top of that, Trayshawn Holden, 4-star recruit. JoJo Earl, 4-star recruit. And Christian Leary, 4-star recruit. That's 3 4-stars right there, gone within the blink of an eye. And by the way, Trayshawn Holden was one of the best wide receivers on Bama this season. And also, the offensive lineman, Javion Cohen, started 25 games. So once again, it's not some scrub. Tommy Brackemeyer, he didn't play too much, but he was a 5-star recruit as well. And Amari Kite, he didn't start, but he played in every single game. I say that because I want to beat this in your head. Normally, every single season with the transfer portal up to this point, when we see Alabama players leave, it's because they don't play in their backups. We rarely, and I mean rarely ever, see guys that are starting and playing a lot at Bama leave the program, because why would you? Bama is a pipeline to the NFL, and if you're starting, there's no reason to leave. But however, this season, you're seeing guys not only that played a lot, but guys that are starting leave the program. So why is that? Nobody's really thinking about this, so I'm going to ask you a question. Is it not a little bit strange that, yeah, these Bama players are leaving, but all of these Bama players, or at least 90% of them that are entering the portal, they're on the offensive side of the ball? Just think about that for a second, and hey, maybe it's a coincidence, but I don't think it is. Continuing along though, and it's one of the main reasons we're even making this video, it was breaking news announced yesterday that electric former 5-star wide receiver Aaron Anderson has entered the NCAA transfer portal. Oh man, I wish I could say I'm shocked, but I'm not at this point. I'm starting to lose count at this point. Going back to this picture, Trayshawn Holden, 4-star, JoJo Earl, 4-star, Christian Leary, 4-star, and now Aaron Anderson, 5-star. That's 4 top recruits leaving. Take a look at some of these comments. You can tell Bama fans are starting to get concerned. And I told you guys about 2 weeks ago, you shouldn't throw up the red flag, but you should be slightly concerned. And it's looking like I was right. This comment says, really starting to lose faith in Saban, and I don't really agree with that, but under that, it's so odd. We are losing big quote-unquote pieces, yet signing one of the best classes ever, so confusing. But, and I have a big but, it seems like Bama fans are starting to come to their senses. Check out this one. They know if Bob, which is Bill O'Brien, is still there, they won't get any yards. They're leaving because Bob sucks. If you're a Bama fan or keep up with Alabama and Bill O'Brien, you know one thing is true. Bama fans despise this guy. They hate Bill O'Brien to death. I don't really hate the guy, but I think it's time to move on from him. Take a look at this comment, and it really puts things into perspective. Ja'Cory Brooks is the lone wide receiver left from Alabama's 2021 class, and Aaron Anderson becomes the first wide receiver from the Crimson Tide's 2022 class to enter the NCAA transfer portal. This is wild. Yeah, it is wild. This isn't overreacting. It should be concerning. I want you to pay attention to this, guys. Alabama has one, let me repeat this, one wide receiver left from the 2021 class. And just like some of these people are starting to figure out in the comment section, it might have something to do with Bob, aka Bill O'Brien. I'm not gonna front, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think that is the sole and probably the only reason. It's pretty clear cut and obvious to me as to why these players are leaving. They've noticed in this Bill O'Brien offensive system, they're not going to get a lot of receiving yards. You don't got to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. Alabama didn't even have one receiver this year with over 1,000 yards. It wasn't even close. And I'm not even going to look it up because it's besides the point, but that's the first time that's happened in years. So yeah, as a wide receiver that's playing for Alabama, why wouldn't I enter the transfer portal? It was a terrible season for Alabama wide receivers. And when I say terrible season, I'm not talking about them solely. I'm talking about production. And a lot of times, the production has to do with the play calling. Bill O'Brien wasn't putting these guys in a position to succeed. Make no mistakes about it. Am I going to miss Trayshawn Holden? Am I going to miss JoJo Earl, Christian Leary, and this Aaron Anderson guy that I really never heard much out of? No, not really. It's not like these were Jalen Waddle, Jamison Williams, John Mechie, Julio Jones caliber wide receivers. But, and I have a big but, make no mistakes about it, guys, they weren't bad wide receivers. They were average and they could be good at times. They did drop some passes here and there, but for the most part, they were solid. And that's the word I'm going to use. It describes them the best way possible. They were solid, but they're not dumb. They've noticed in this Bill O'Brien offense, they're not going to thrive and succeed. And I want you to think about this. They had the best quarterback in the country throwing them the football in Bryce Young. And they're not even going to have him next year. So yes, that's another reason as to why you should leave, because if you weren't getting the ball when Bryce Young was a quarterback, then what's going to happen next season? There's not a single doubt about this in my mind. The reason all these Alabama 4- and 5-star wide receivers are leaving left and right is because of one person and one person only. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. It's not a coincidence that all of these wide receivers decided to leave at one time? Or hey, maybe it is. Maybe it is some big and rare coincidence. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm still not going to say that Alabama's falling apart because the harsh truth is they're just going to replace these 4- and 5-star guys with other 4- and 5-star guys. That's how Alabama works. If they lose a 4- or 5-star, they just plug in another. I'm very curious though. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.